All right, welcome back to module number 5, objections. The best salesman in the world can get stumped by an objection. There's always something new. People, they don't just have the same generic responses like you see here. These are responses, but these are more of the generic responses that we feel that we deal with, that we know how to overcome. And you can't not every single objection you're going to overcome. Some people are stubborn. Some people, you can't get it through to them. Some people you have to nurture over time. So don't let me review with my attorney and you fumble it. That doesn't mean that you killed the deal. That just means you have to have one or two more calls to get that person on board to deal with you and to want to work with you. But don't feel like if you fumble it that the deal's dead. Be confident, slow down, learn. So if you have an objection that you're not used to facing, try and deflect it. That's another thing you can do. So if you get an objection that you don't know how to overcome, try and deflect it back to them. So if they ask you a question and they say, "Oh, I'm not ready yet," the best way to handle it is, "Well, why aren't you ready? What's stopping you from being ready?" And then just reflect it back to them. Then they talk more, and then you just overcame that objection because now they're going to give you a different objection as to why they're not ready. And they're going to try and handle that. Well, my son's in college. I just don't want him to be displaced. I want him to have someone to come home to. So now you're gonna peel back the onion to get to more different layers of the objection. But the more layers you get to, the more you let them talk, the more they're gonna talk themselves out of the objection and talk themselves into wanting to work with you, especially as you just let them talk. So I can't stress it enough. If you don't know how to overcome something, it's fine. Don't freak out. Don't beat yourself up and say, "Oh, I fumbled this deal. I'm not going to get it now." You very well may have fumbled it, but you learned something, and now you know. You write the objection down, write that you didn't know how to handle it, and then brainstorm. Use ChatGPT, use AI, or ask us in the community ways to overcome that. We're more than happy to help you. And if there's an objection that I can overcome, I'm going to ask Chris. I'm going to ask someone else in the Discord. I'm going to find somebody who can overcome it because multiple brains is better than one brain, and we're all learning and we're all growing together. So, what to expect, how to overcome. Let me review with my attorney. Biggest one we get, everybody's afraid that you're trying to scam them. There's a million cyber scams going on nowadays. I understand, no worries. Let me review with my attorney, I'll get back to you. Okay, no worries. What's your attorney's name? They're gonna give you his name. If they don't have their attorney's name, no worries. I think why don't I refer you one of my attorneys? And listen, they're completely unbiased. It's against the law for them to be biased with one side or another. Why don't I review to one of my attorneys and we can all sit down and discuss the contract together? That way him and I, or her and I, can discuss the contract with you to make sure you're fully comfortable. Or if they do have an attorney, I want to review with my attorney. Okay, no worries. What's your attorney's name and number? I'll give them a call. I'll introduce myself. I want to make sure everybody's comfortable and on the same page. Why don't we all sit down, pick a time, and we'll get together to all review the contract. That way everybody's on the same page and no question goes unanswered or unaddressed. How does Friday 10 a.m. sound tentatively for you? And I'll call your attorney, introduce myself, and see if that time works for him as well. If not, we'll pencil it in. But if that doesn't work, we'll figure out another day. How's that sound for you? You peel back that onion, and now you put the ball into your court. If they say, "No, I'm going to review with my attorney by myself no matter what," okay, when do you plan on reviewing with your attorney? I'd love to be part of that meeting. If they don't want you part of that meeting, they're most likely not serious. Either way, you still try it. Okay, when are you meeting with your attorney? I'll follow up with you after that. That's if they physically deny every single one of the things you just tried, no worries. When are you meeting with your attorney? I'll give you a call after that. So the seller I'm dealing with right now didn't want me to meet with his attorney, but so lo and behold, his attorney did end up reaching out to me after they met, and she had a list of questions that I was able to answer, and now we're going to put together a deal. Sometimes people are they're just really secure, they're isolated, they're different, or they're scared, and they're scared of you because you're an unknown figure coming into their lives and are going to be basically guiding them through the biggest purchase of their entire lives or the biggest sale of their entire lives, which is of their asset, their property, and they're most likely distressed, they're most likely in a tough situation. So you just be aware, people's guards are gonna be up. Unless you're in Florida's market where you can go, or Texas, where you can go get a mobile, like a house, like small house for like $10,000-$50,000. People usually aren't as like secure, but if you're in like different markets, the houses are a little bit bigger, they're worth a couple $100,000. You're more than likely dealing with people who are they're in a shell. You have to hit the armor, get a little chip in the armor, and peel it away. Peel back the onion, make people feel comfortable dealing with you. So that's one way to handle this one. Set a time with the attorney. Write that down. Make sure. Set a time with the attorney to meet with you, the attorney, and the seller, which is their client. Let me check with my blank. This could be wife. This could be kid. This could be dad, partner, lawyer, cat, dog, everybody and their mother. Let me check with my blank. Okay, no worries. Is there anything that I'm not describing to you now that's holding you up from making a decision with me? If they say no, I just want to review with them. Okay, no sweat. When's a good time for us to sit down? Just like this objection. When's a good time for us to sit down and review together? That way, if there's anything that you're not clear on, I'm right there in the conversation with you to answer the questions for your wife, your doctor, your pet, whoever they have. Make sure you set a time with all of them. So you, them, and you and them. That way there's no confusion. There's no information that's being wrong or mispresented. That way the wife kills the deal. She's like, oh, he's trying to do this to the house? Absolutely not. Don't talk to him. Block him. He's trying to scam you. You want to be part of it. You want, especially in person. And so if you're wholesaling in your market and you find somebody like, oh, I want to review with my wife. I'll review when she gets home today. Okay, no worries. Maybe is it possible for me to stop by when your wife's home? That way we can all review together. Or maybe it's, how about this? How about you give me a call once you're talking to your wife? We'll all review together. That way there's no stone left unturned and all of her questions and your questions are answered. The whole idea with these is to set time to review. Set a time to review. These are the two biggest things because you don't want them to be reviewing without you in the conversation. The whole idea, attorneys are deal killers. I can tell you, deal killers. There's been multiple times that attorneys have killed our deals, and it's because they're looking out for their client, but a lot of times they don't understand the language of a wholesale contract. So you want to make sure you're there to describe the language, let them know you're gonna sell the property, you're gonna purchase the property, you're gonna get everything done. You might be closing with a partner, or you might have it worded so that you just have a due diligence period. So you just want to have some time to just walk through your contractors, your inspectors, just make sure everything's in line for you to be able to take on this renovation project. But sometimes if attorneys don't understand that, they think that, I don't know what they think. They think you're trying to scam their client. They think you're going to draw up the contract, all this kind of stuff. They can kill deals. So make sure you're there. Make sure you're present for any meeting, whether it's with an attorney or whether it's with somebody's spouse, their kid, or anybody. You want to be present for the meetings. So let me check with my wife. Okay, no worries. When's your wife going to be home? Why don't we all jump on a call together? That way I'm there to answer any questions. I know we don't leave any stone left unturned. It's a pretty good one for it. The price is too low. The most common thing we get: how dare you disrespect me? I know my house is worth $400,000. How dare you? We grew up here. My family kept this we had it in the family for 60 plus years. We've done all this work to it, but you went there, and the house hasn't been updated since the 60s. You went there, and the house has mold, or the roof is shot, or there's a bunch of issues. It's on fuses instead of circuit breakers, electrical. You don't want that. So if they try and tell you the price is too low, some people, if there's no pain point to sell, if there's no real motivation, they're gonna say they're just gonna waste your time. A lot of people, you have to peel back the onion and really explain to them why their house isn't worth 400, why it's worth 250 because it needs $100,000 worth of work. People get attached emotionally to their properties. You'd be surprised. So you might be younger right now. You might not have a home of your own. You might be living with your parents, have an apartment. But you'd be surprised if you have a house that sits in your family for a long time. I guarantee you, especially if you're not in this business, you will be attached to that house. People get attached. Some people don't, which is fine. But more than likely, if you're trying to purchase that property and they took great care of it and it's been in their family for 60 plus years, they're going to be so attached to that house, they're not going to want to sell it to you, an investor, anyways, or they're going to want to list in a market at the best price possible. But in reality, you need to tell them why you are the best price possible. They don't want to pay commissions. They don't want to pay fees. They don't want to deal with inspections, all those kind of jazz. You are the best option for them. Make sure they know that. The price is too low. Listen, Mrs. Smith, I completely understand where you're coming from. You guys have kept such exceptional care of the property these past 60 years. But listen, for me, just based on recent sales in the area, I ran my numbers, ran my comps, based on recent sales and what I think the house is going to need, I got up 250 to 260. And listen, let me tell you why. We're going to purchase that property. We're going to turn it around for the next family that's going to most likely be living in that property. It's a beautiful area. The house has great bones. The school systems are great. I know it's going to be perfect for a young couple starting out, or somebody who has a brand new family coming. They're looking to move into a good school system. I want to make sure I give them the best product possible. But for me to do that, you don't have to make sure the price is right. So I have enough room to invest in this property, to turn it around, to make it the best possible product I can, so I can then sell it to a family down the line who's going to love this property, who's going to take care of it, who's going to be able to live in it for another 50 plus years, just like you guys did, because it's a good product for them. I understand you want $400,000 for the house, but that's retail value. I do think the house needs a little bit more work than I was originally anticipating. So listen, if you strike a deal with me, I promise you that we're going to make this house a beautiful product, and another family is going to go live in this house for another 50 plus years after we're done renovating it, after we sell it to them. Play on the heartstrings. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Some people aren't going to care. But if you play on the heartstrings of somebody to say, oh, they lived there for 60 plus years, and now all of a sudden you're going to turn around and sell it to a family who's going to probably live for another 30, 40 plus years, it's going to pull on their heartstrings and be like, you know what? I agree. I know the house needs some work. I know we've kept great care of it, but I know it's 2024 now. We haven't updated since the 70s. You know what? I really want to see what this house can look like when it's done. Please keep me posted. I'll talk to my family and I'll talk about this offer. We'll see if we can put this deal together. If she's going to talk to her family about the offer, and if she's going to talk to her family about the offer, and she already told you the price is too low, always go back to here. So when are you going to review with your son, with your grandson, with your kids? When are you going to review so I can be on the call too to answer any questions that they have and explain it to them exactly how I explained it to you? That's another one you just overcame. And again, some people aren't going to sell to you. Don't beat yourself up if they don't sell to you. Some people are really just not going to take your offer. Some people might not need to sell. They want $400K for the house. It's worth $380. Like, well, I want retail. Again, we are going to have wholesaling 2.0 coming out, which is going to teach you how to navigate those deals and how to use a different option to make money on those deals. But that's for a different day. So I need to find something else before I sell. Easiest one to overcome. Perfect. No worries at all. We can make this sale subject to you finding suitable housing. And I am more than happy to put you in touch with one of my personal agents who I've worked with multiple times. Because obviously you're an investor, you're not an agent. Even if you are an agent, you're an investor, you're not actually as an agent. Refer them to somebody. So this is the point where I said you need to go networking events, you need to build your network. Because this is the time that you're going to be able to have somebody on hand who can help them find a house, whether it's a house, a rental, anything they need. So no, we're gonna make this sale subject to you finding suitable housing. We're not gonna close until you are comfortable in your next spot and you have a set date in mind that you're gonna be moving in. We will close right then. And if you need a little more time, so say you need to sell to buy, no worries at all. Or maybe you need to sell before you can get an apartment because you need to have a hefty security deposit. You don't have any money. No worries. I can give you a 1 month lease back, so you're gonna get the cash in your pocket. Full disclosure, a leaseback is when you close on the property or your buyer closes on the property and they allow them to stay as a tenant. So they allow the seller to stay as a tenant for up to 1 to 2 months, or it can be negotiated however long you want. But most common is 1 to 2 months. So leaseback, close on the property, they get cash in hand, and then they stay as a tenant for 1 to 2 months or as long as they need to stay. So back to it. So I promise you that we will not close until you're ready to go, or if you need the money in hand before you move, no worries. We're gonna close. I'm gonna give you a 1 month lease back. That way you already make the best decision for you and your family, or that way you already make the best decision possible. You have all the money in your account and you're ready to move on something as soon as you see the opportunity. I'm gonna put you in touch with my agent. His name is Bill. He's gonna be reaching out to you in the next couple hours. He's gonna be in charge of helping you find something. I promise he's a great guy. How's that sound to you? Great. So that is easy to overcome. Then you need to find something. And just if you do negotiate a lease back in there, tell your buyer. I have seen it so many times when wholesalers have negotiated leasebacks and they don't tell the buyer that they negotiated a leaseback, and now the buyer is looking at closing the property, and the seller's like, well, what the fuck? I need to stay here for an extra month. And the buyer's like, what do you mean? You never told me that. Now the deal's gonna fall apart because chances of them letting the person stay slim. Especially if they don't know. Chances if you tell them full disclosure, they factor that into their budget. They factor that into their holding costs. They're gonna hold it for an extra month, without doing any work. That's already factored into their budget. So if you're transparent about it, great. Don't not tell the person that you negotiated a lease back, and then the day of closing they're expecting to close, and all of a sudden the seller's like, well, I need to stay for 30 days, or they close and they don't, and they close and they say the buyer doesn't see the lease back agreement in the CD in the closing docs, and the sellers they're like, well, no, Nick told me I could stay and for the next 30 days. And they're like, well, what do you mean? We're here to renovate it. Like, well, he told me I could stay for 30 days. That's part of the lease back, no? And they're like, what lease back? Don't do that. The chance of them closing on it and then having a lease back without them knowing are slim. But just saying, make sure you tell your buyer. My friend's a realtor. Okay, I completely understand. But your friend's not buying it cash as is with no inspections, no fees, no commissions. Your friend's looking to make $1 just as much as you are in terms of the sale. So you're gonna have to pay his commission. He's gonna have to deal with other realtors, deal with inspections, appraisals, walkthroughs. I understand he's your friend, but listen, I'm making the best offer I possibly can. I can promise you, the house does need some love. He's not. If he gets you maybe $20,000 more, is it really worth the headache of paying his commission after dealing with a conventional buyer, someone who's not buying it cash, who's asking you to fix the boiler, who's asking you to make some repairs? It's not worth it. It's not worth the headache. Or maybe even worse, an appraisal issue, because that's a complete deal killer. You don't want that. Listen, I understand your friend's a realtor. I'm happy to have a conversation with him too, but I promise you, this offer, cash as is, no inspections, no fees, is the best possible solution for you. If you want to list with him, I completely understand. But I think you save yourself a lot of headache. Get this closed in 2 weeks to 2 to 3 weeks. Save you a lot of headache and get you your cash in your pocket a lot quicker than waiting 2 to 3 months to sell with your friend who's a realtor. And again, it's not great to mix friends in business. What if, God forbid, something goes wrong in this transaction? It's not worth jeopardizing the friendship. I think I'm the best solution for you, but if you don't think so, I completely understand, but I do think I'm the best solution for you in this current situation that you're in. So those are the top objections that we face in our business. Quick little side note over here. If you don't know something, no worries. Say, hey, listen, I don't know the answer to that. Let me review with my partner. Let me review with my team. Let me review with my financial guy, and I'll get right back to you. You can say you had to review with somebody to get back to them. Be calm. If it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. If you don't know something, don't freak out because you don't know, or don't start stuttering. Slow, again, like I said, slow your tone down. Be calm. Take some deep breaths, and that's it. That's all you need to do. Don't fumble something because you don't know, or don't fumble something because you're nervous. Just be calm. Take some deep breaths. Everything will work out in the end. I promise you. If you don't know how to overcome objection, write it down, take some notes, and then you'll learn it for the next time. So those are the top objections that we face. If you have any more objections you're currently facing, drop them in the main chat, drop them in the QMA, drop them in the objections tab. We'll be doing a lot of live role playing in the community as well, how to overcome objections live, which would be cool. So it's gonna be done by us, our partners, it's gonna be done by you guys, it's gonna be done by a bunch of people. It's gonna be cool. Cool experience. So if there's any objections that you don't see here that you're facing, let us know. We'll be sure to answer those in the live Q&As, or be sure to give you maybe a brief little blurb of information inside of the Discord. So let us know. All right. So next module, we're teaching you guys how to find some buyers because you've overcome all of this. You got a contract signed. You're ready to go. Next module, 6.1, we're going to teach you guys how to find buyers, how to build a buyers list, and how to make sure you get your deal dispositioned quickly, effectively, so you can get paid. I'll see you in the next one.